Hello and welcome to today's episode that deals with Photoshop interface. I am Sakshi Mandwal and a subject expert for today is Ashish Garg, who is a professional and has been teaching at the Maya Academy of Advanced Cinematics from last 5 years. Today, we will be covering the following: GUI, Graphical User Interface, Image Color Wheel, Pixels, Aspect Ratio, Types of Images, Raster and Vector, Resolution, Color Scheme, and Interface of Photoshop. GUI. A graphical user interface is a type of user interface item that allows people to interact with the program in more ways than typing as computers. Handheld devices such as MP3 players or gaming devices, household appliances, office equipments with images rather than the text commands. Image. An image or picture is something which is formed with combining or arranging colors on any surface. Images may be two-dimensional, such as a photograph, screen display, and as well as a three-dimensional, such as a statue or hologram. They may be captured by optical devices such as cameras, mirrors, lenses, telescopes, microscopes, etc., and natural objects and phenomena such as the human eye or water surfaces. Pixels. Like a wall is built by arranging many bricks, similarly, when a digital image is zoomed up, it can be seen that the image is made up by arranging small colored blocks. Each individual colored block termed as a pixel. Pixel is also termed as PEL, that is, picture element. Resolution. Total number of pixels horizontally with respect to the total on of pixels vertically in the area of 1 square inch is termed as resolution. Types of images. There are two types of images, raster and vector. The images which are made of pixels are known as raster images. These types of images cannot scale up to an arbitrary resolution without loss of apparent quality. On the other hand, vector graphics is formed by the geometrical primitives such as points, lines, curves, and shapes or polygons created by mathematical equations and algorithms. Aspect ratio. The aspect ratio of an image describes the proportional relationship between its width and its height. In still camera photography, the most common aspect ratios are 4:3, 3:2, and more recently being found in consumer cameras, 16:9. We discussed about some of the essentials involved to use Photoshop. There is one more very important topic we should know: the color theory or color wheel. Photoshop is all about the graphics, and graphics always based on the color sense or color we use for our creations. Every color signifies something. Like when we use blue color, it represents the coolness. Generally, we use blue colors for happiness. When we use red color in our artwork, it signifies love, passion, anger, and blood. When we use black in our artwork, it signifies mourning, death, and darkness. In print ads, for dark subjects and concepts, black is always used. Similarly, grey color represents the richness in the artwork or graphics. You might have seen the print advertisement of Mercedes-Benz. Artist always makes these kind of advertisements in grey shades because it is a luxurious car and grey denotes the richness. So, we always need to understand the color theory and should have the knowledge of color wheel.
Color wheel. I hope you must have seen color wheel in this chapter. Photoshop is all about the colors. It's essential to have a sound knowledge of colors while you working with Photoshop. With colors you can set a mood, attract attention, or make a statement. You can use colors to energize or to cool down. By selecting the right color scheme, you can create an ambience of elegance, warmth, or you can convey an image of playful usefulness. Color can be your most powerful design element if you learn to use it effectively. There are several types of color wheels. I would strongly suggest you to go through the color theory in the given link on the screen. This will be essential for you to understand the color wheel and color theory. Color theory will help you to work on several assignments in your academics and professional career. Whenever you used to make some posters, magazines, layout, web page, logos, etc., you need to have a strong color sense and sound knowledge of color wheel. If you work on digital painting assignment, then it becomes the priority to work on the lighting, shading and coloring. Photoshop is also using for film, gaming, animation, films, media. In gaming or animation films, artists used to work on the texture making process, which is highly creative work, and again you need to have color theory knowledge. I strongly recommend the power of internet to my students always. The practice on Photoshop software will teach you the insight of this software. When you will work on the software, you will face many problems, and troubleshooting all those problems will teach you the software.
Let's now talk about the color theory. Color theory. This theory explains how colors are formed. For this purpose, there is a figure which is known as the color wheel. The color wheel explains how the colors are combined to produce a third color. There are two types of color wheels, artistic and technical. Artistic color wheel. In daily life, people often use a color combination in their dressing sense to look decent and attractive. In the same way, when a colorful design is created, the combination of these colors should be matching. For this purpose, a color wheel guides how to combine the colors with each other to create an attractive output. A typical artist paint or pigment color wheel includes the blue, red, and yellow primary colors. The corresponding secondary colors are green, orange, and violet. The tertiary colors are red-orange, red-violet, yellow-orange, yellow-green, blue-violet, and blue-green. Color schemes. It is the choice of colors used in design for a range of media. Color schemes are used to create style and appeal. Colors that create an aesthetic feeling when used together will commonly accompany each other in color schemes. A basic color scheme will use two colors that look appealing together. Some different types of color schemes. Monochromatic color scheme. Monochromatic color schemes are derived from a single cheap base hue and extended using its shades, tones and tints, that is, a hue modified by the addition of black, grey, black plus white and white. Monochromatic color schemes may be considered boring unless there is diversity within the design. Analog's color scheme. Colors those are adjacent to each other on the color wheel. Yellow and red are adjacent to orange. Neutral color scheme. A scheme that includes only color not found in the color wheel like brown and grey. Warm color scheme. This scheme contains red, yellow and orange colors. Fire and the sun are examples for these kind of schemes. Cool color scheme. This color scheme contains blue, violet and green colors. Complementary color scheme. The color that lies opposite to each other on the wheel are complementary colors. Examples: green and red. Technical color scheme. This color wheel explains how the colors are displayed on the monitors. Just like the artistic color wheel, this color wheel also has three primary colors: red, green and blue. We just discussed about some of the essential theoretical content for the Photoshop. Now, let's start work on the software interface. I'm sure it will be a fun learning experience. Adobe Photoshop user interface. Like every software, even if it is Microsoft Office or Photoshop, there is a menu bar in every software from where you can access the different types of effects, controls and commands. So as soon as you will launch the Adobe Photoshop software, you will get some of the menus. On the left hand, you will see a toolbar from where you can access all the tools like selection tools, painting tools, gradient tools, pen tools, etc. On the right side of the Photoshop interface, you will find the docking palette where you will get all the palettes like layer, path, channel, etc. Artist needs canvas to paint his or her imagination. So an Photoshop artist can also need a workspace to develop his or her digital art. So for the workspace, first of all we take a canvas. To launch a new canvas, you can do Ctrl+N or Ctrl+ double click on Photoshop gray position, or go to File menu and select New. As soon as you will choose any one of the option, you will find a new window. Name: to assign some name to the canvas or your project file. Preset: preset contains some predefined settings of canvas, like if you want A4 size canvas or landscape canvas or canvas according to television broadcasting standard, etc., you can take it from the presets. Width and height. Width and height represent the dimensions of the canvas. You can take this dimension in inches, pixels, centimeters, millimeters, points, picas and columns. Resolution. Resolution defines the quality of the image or canvas. The higher is the resolution, the better is the quality. Color mode. Color mode determines which color method is used to display and print the images. If the RGB mode is used, then you can view your images on digital screen. And if you want to print your image, then you should use the CMYK color mode. Photoshop has 5 color modes for the new canvas. Bitmap. You can use only black and white in this type of color mode to represent the pixel in an image. Grayscale. In this mode, you can use different shades of gray. The range of gray varies from black to white. RGB. RGB stands for red, green and blue. RGB color mode uses the RGB model, assigning an intensity value to each pixel. In 8 bits per channel images, the intensity values range from 0, black to 255, white for each of the RGB, that is red, green and blue components in a color image. For example, a bright red color has an R value of 246, a G value of 20 and a B value of 50. When the values of all 3 components are equal, the result is a shade of neutral gray. When the values of all components are 255, the result is pure white. When the values are 0, the result is pure black. CMYK. CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow and black. In the CMYK mode, each pixel is assigned a percentage value for each of the process inks. The lightest, that is highlight colors, are assigned small percentages or process ink colors. The darker, that is shadow colors, represent higher percentages. For example, a bright red might contain 2% cyan, 93% magenta, 90% yellow, and 0% black. In CMYK images, pure white is generated when all 4 components have values of 0%. Use the CMYK mode when preparing an image to be printed using process colors. Lab. This mode is based on the human perception of the color. This mode is used to transform the colors from one space to the other. This mode is device independent. Lab mode has a lightness component, L, the A component that is green-red, and the B component that is blue-yellow. Using the canvas and filling the colors in the canvas. After creating the canvas, the next task is to understand that how we can fill colors in the canvas. For this purpose, the color box in toolbar allows us to fill 2 different colors, background color and foreground color. A. Foreground color. B. Background color. C. Switch color option and Schottky is X. D. Default color option and the Schottky is D. When you click on the color box, a color picker box will appear and it will allow you to select the color. You can select any color or color shade from the color picker. When a maximum level of any color is selected, a yellow triangle appears near the cancel button. This triangle is the symbol of gamut warning, which means the selected color is not suitable for printing purpose. When you click on the triangle, it gives you the nearest suitable color which can be possibly printed. This is why CMYK mode is selected for printing purpose as well. When an out of gamut color is selected and the mode of the canvas is CMYK, it automatically fills the color which lies inside the gamut. Now, let's fill the color on the blank canvas. Use the paint bucket tool in the toolbar. We find 2 colors in the color box. One is background color and the second is foreground color. Clicking in the blank canvas will fill the background color on the canvas. We can swap the foreground and the background color by pressing X key on our keyboard. We can bring the color box in default black and which colors by pressing D on the keyboard. The shortkeys for filling foreground color and background color on the canvas are foreground color, Alt plus backspace, background color, Control plus backspace. Now let's talk about the selection tools in Photoshop. There are so many selection tools in Photoshop. Every selection tool has a different style of selecting the region, but the purpose is same, that is selection. The selection tools create an area in which an operation like color fill, delete of any effect or filter can be performed, which is restricted into selected area only. There are some types of selection tools: Lasso tool, Polygonal lasso tool, Magnetic lasso tool, Rectangular Mark tool, Elliptical Mark tool, Magic wand tool, Quick selection tool.
These same photo editing tools have an alternate side, though. The ability to fix flaws or remove unwanted objects from an image also allows the photo editor to change the reality being presented to viewers. A talented Photoshop artist can dramatically and believably change the information that a photo conveys, swapping out location, things, or even people present in the original photo. Because of this, photos which were once taken as a factual record of an event can no longer be accepted purely at face value. This is harmless enough for photography, intended for personal or fine arts use. But what about images intended to be presented to the public as photojournalism? Where is the line drawn between removing things that detract from a composition and attempting to change the reality of what the viewer sees? Regardless as to whether the decision to alter the image was spurred by religious belief or some other reason, the fact remains this move attempt to change the fact of the story and violates the ethics of the profession. Regardless as to whether the decision to alter the image was spurred by religious beliefs or some other reason, the fact remains that this move attempts to change the facts of the story and violates the very ethics of the profession. Particularly now, as the profession undergoes in the rapid evolution, journalism must be held to high standards.
Mock tool. Rectangular mock tool makes a rectangular selection or square when used with the shift key. Elliptical mock tool creates an elliptical selection or circle. When used, single row or single column defines the border as 1 pixel, wide row or column. Lasso tool. This is a freehand selection tool. Click and hold your left mouse button on the image and draw your selection. Polygonal lasso tool. Similar to the lasso tool, except that instead of holding your mouse button down to draw, left click on various points to create a selection with a series of straight edges. You can also hold the Alt key, Windows, or Option key, Mac OS, to draw freehand sections. Magnetic lasso tool. This is a very handy tool for selecting areas which have reasonably well-defined edges. Left click at the starting point of your selection and simply moves the mouse along the edge. To complete a selection. To finish drawing a selection, either click on the selection starting point or double click anywhere. Magic Wand tool. The Magic Wand tool allows you to select an area of an image based on its color. The tool is located near the top of the Photoshop toolbox. When you click an area in an image with the Magic Wand, all areas which are similar color are selected. You can specify various options to determine the exact location. Quick Selection tool. Quick Selection tool can be used to quickly paint a selection using an adjustable round brush. As the brush is dragged, the selection expands outward and automatically finds and follows defined edges in the image. Selection option. In every selection tool, there are some selection options which allows adding, subtracting and intersecting the one selection with other. Feather option is used to feathering the edges of the selection. Filling color in selected area. To fill color only in a restricted area, create a selection from any of the selection tools. The selection tool restricts the operation only in the selection zone. Select any mock tool or lasso tool to create a shape and fill the foreground or background color in the selection. Then, right-click on the selection to use some more options like Deselect. This option is to remove the selection. Select Inverse. This option is to select the inverse selection. Feather. This option is to use to smooth the edges. Refine Edges. This option is to improve the quality of selection. Free Transform. This option is to transform the selected area, that is, move, rotate and scale. Transform Selection. This option is to transform the selection box. Fill. This option is to fill the color in the selected region. Stroke. This option is used to apply the stroke to follow the boundary of the selection.
Some more suggestions for using Photoshop. While working on web page or magazine cover page layout, always use high resolution images. Low resolution images will give you pixelation and will not be ideal for printing. Always work on layers. I hope you understand layer very well. Layer plays an important role in creating and organizing artwork. Using layers has several advantages over making adjustment directly to an original image. Temporary edits. By using layers, you can make adjustment without changing the data of layer underneath. This allows you to make multiple changes without having to start over each time an edit does turn out like you had intended. Avoid data loss. Each time you change your image through adjustment or other edits, a small amount of data can be lost. By using layers, your original image is protected from corruption, Specific point editing. By using layers, you can select just one part of an image using masks, or by deleting the unwanted part of just one layer. This allows you to edit foreground, subject and background separately. Quick edit to multiple images. By copying your editing layer to other image, you can quickly make adjustment to large number of images. So guys, I hope you like this information. Applying some of the above suggestions will improve your work. So all the best and happy learning. Have a good day.
We today attempted to understand Photoshop, the graphical user interface, image, color wheel, pixels, aspect ratio, types of images, raster and vector, and resolution. These terms are really important and need to be understood to execute Photoshop. We also talked about the different types of color schemes like cool color scheme, warm color scheme. These terms can be asked in interview and in theory exams. Then, we talked about the interface of Photoshop. In interface, we discussed about the canvas and its options, how to fill color, background color, foreground color, color box, color palette, selection tool like Lasso, Mock and Magic Wand tools. We will soon be back with more episodes. Thank you and goodbye.